Life can change fast. It can change in an instant. You sit down at your desk one day, and the life that you know is over. I'm talking, of course, about New York City's ban on foam food containers. As of July 1st, 2015, New York City will be the largest in the country to ban the sale, possession, and distribution of single-use polystyrene foam, commonly, although incorrectly, known as Styrofoam, which is actually a brand name, but never mind for now. Officials say this stuff can't be recycled. They say it litters the city. They say it fouls up the harbor, and it may end up in the food chain. But hold on, I thought when I heard this. Like other children of the 80s, I have lived my life in the puffy embrace of foam products, and for all this thought about the environment, it seemed no one was considering the human costs of a ban. What about us, fans of foam? What will we do? The videographer Anya Pinello and I decided to find out. Take a look.
All right, so I'm a pretty green guy. I love the earth. I think it's important to keep it clean, and I want to pass it down to the next generation. But I have a confession to make. I kind of love Styrofoam. The squeak, the crumble. I've lived my whole life in the puffy embrace of foam products, and I never wanted that life to end. But it will. As of July 1st, New York City has banned the sale, possession, and distribution of single-use polystyrene foam, more commonly known as Styrofoam. They say you can't recycle it. The sanitation department had to collect 28,000 tons of the stuff last year. That's more than 6 pounds for every New Yorker, and all of it is now sitting in landfills. We're making progress, and I'm all for that. But we're also losing something pretty iconic. Coffee cups, clamshells, packing peanuts, even forks and spoons can be made out of foam. And the chemist who unlocked its secrets? He won a 1953 Nobel Prize for the work. So how is New York going to change? What will the food vendors do? How will the lunch crowd adjust? And what about people like me, lovers of foam in all of its forms?
You know, the Styrofoam cup has been around for a long time. Styrofoam plates, it's been part of my life for decades. Yeah. I think I might miss it. You don't think you might miss it?
I prefer paper cups.
Well, what about Styrofoam plates?
I don't know, just stop being lazy and wash a plate.
The thing about Styrofoam, it's messy too.
I see Styrofoam as the things that are floating around the neighborhood blown by the wind.
You seem pretty convinced, but as a final test, I'd like you to hold this cup and tell me what's in your heart right now.
I'm kind of bummed on it.
It just needs to go. I think it's obsolete.
All I want to do is shred it. You should take this back.
Okay, so clearly no friends there, but what about the people who depend on foam to fuel their day or fill their wallets?
I'm going to use a different kind of plate.
Which kind?
And I think plastic one.
Is it gonna cost more?
This costs more, yeah. This is going to be much costed, double.
Who's going to pay for that, you or the customer?
No, I'm going to pay for that.
Are you frustrated?
As a frustrated, yeah.
Later that night, I settled into a dry bath of packing peanuts. I needed to unwind. Instead, I found myself thinking.
The law is the law. I know, but the law is the law.
Dark Container Corporation makes a lot of foam, and it calls the ban capricious and arbitrary. It says foam can be recycled safely, and, along with others, it sued the city in hopes of overturning the ban. Maybe they'll win, but I've decided to face the future anyway.
So we have biopacks, as well as, I can put this here, as well as these, which are compostable. So good for your body, good for the environment. But it was important to source and to budget for that, and it was a commitment.
So, I mean, you've talked about budgeting for it. Is it that much more expensive to buy this kind of container than to buy a cheaper Styrofoam or aluminum container?
Quite frankly and honestly, at this stage, yes. This is incredibly cheap. But when it goes away, the hope is that this and that these will be much more in production, and the price will come down.
In the meantime, I plan to enjoy my last days of Styrofoam. And after July 1st, well, there's always plastic.